everybody, and welcome to another episode of Too Weird Didn't Watch, the show where we make fun of movies that we haven't seen, based on nothing but their weird descriptions.
I'm Brantley.
And I am Albert. It has been too long since we recorded, Brantley.
Yeah, work is a thing.
Work and vehicle problems are a thing. But before we get into the meat of the episode, I did want to report back to everybody that I watched 976 Evil 2, The Astral Factor. These are all this is still the title of the movie, apparently. And it was like really good for, I guess, like caveat for what it was.
Right.
But I was surprised
That's
at
the
how
one
much
where
I
the
enjoyed
guy
it.
can turn invisible and walk through walls, right?
Yes.
Because of the phone call with Satan.
Right. So what Satan... First of all, let's talk about Satan. So this is a little mini review. The voice of Satan is like actually a really cool sort of DJ upbeat kind of sounding guy. It's
like
very...
someone you would call on those kind of
Oh yeah, it's like, you've called 976 Evil for your horrific horoscope. But everything rhymes, and like he'll still say things like that are menacing to the people through the rhyme, but he never stops being upbeat about how he's talking.
Also, that's part of the fun of how the phone call works, I think. I haven't watched either movie, but it was like the first one made it sound like it was this gimmicky Halloween thing.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, so it makes, like, you would call them up and you would get your horoscope and it would, but, like, it actually ends up turning real. Yeah. The dude able to walk through walls, that's an astral projection, which is a plot point that
explains the title.
Comes back around. There's also a great element of that where they say this in the explanation of how astral projections work, that when you astral project, your visage is affected by how your soul is. Okay. So he, like, in his normal body is normal, at least for most of the movie. But when he astral projects, like, his face is all messed up. There's, like, pus and stuff everywhere. It still looks like him, but he's evil-eyed. And then as the movie progresses, his actual physical body starts becoming evil-eyed. Okay. Because of the astral projecting. There's an amazing scene with the character that literally appears for just this scene, but it's still great, where the main girl character is watching TV with her girlfriend, and they're doing the argument between, like, I want to watch horror, I want to watch a happy movie, and the happy movie in this case is It's a Wonderful Life, and the horror is Night of the Living Dead. So they set this up by having them, like, playfully switching back and forth between Night of the Living Dead and It's a Wonderful Life. And the evil guy, the main girl leaves the room to go get popcorn. The evil guy pops up on screen as not a telemarketer, what would you call it? Like somebody who's pitching a product.
Spokesperson?
Yeah, Willie Mays here for the Universal Remote. And he's selling Universal Remote. And then she's like, Professor or Dean, like, because they know who it is, the dean of the college where they both go, and she's like, is that Dean so-and-so? And he looks right out of the television and he's like, yes, it is. And like zaps her into the movie It's a Wonderful Life. Since it's I think it's 1990 this came out, there's no like CGing her into the background of a shot, but they do a great job of like cutting between footage from the original movie and then her in the back of the crowd kind of looking around like, oh, this is really cool. And then something turns and the crowd like all turns to look at her and they're zombies. And it's such a great surreal moment. It's got a great soundtrack. It's wonky in that kind of way that those movies from the era would have been, but it's still, I was legitimately surprised and really enjoyed every minute of it. And if you do nothing else in relation to this movie, go check out the soundtrack Truck Down, which is the showdown in a truck and against a motorcycle at the end of the movie. Spoilers, okay. But yeah, that's not what this show is about, though. Brantley,
no,
this show is about movies we haven't seen, and we had last left off with Super Roboto Red Baron. It was Super Robot Red Baron. I think I wasn't like they legitimately do call it like that, but yeah. Anyway.
Japanese word for robot is roboto.
Yes.
Comes from the Polish word for drudgery.
I thought it was for slavery, I thought?
Kind of both.
Is that one of those etymologies that people are like, see? And they're like slaves. And then it was sort of just like, actually, it's not that direct.
It was meant that it was for like the crappy work that we would make someone a slave do, but they're not alive, so there's like no moral there. But maybe
golems?
don't give them the concept of self and make them, clean toilets.
Is that a danger that we have, by the way? We're like, we're going to develop AI that can do all this great stuff for us. If the AI gets good enough, does it necessarily then develop like a sense of self?
I mean, there's that, but it's... In all these movies, they're always like robots in really menial labor that for some reason still have that level of AI.
Oh, yeah.
It's like your Roomba doesn't need to be able to recite Shakespeare to you or just, debate what it means.
Oh, no. This is another detour from the actual episode, but
It's
I have
about
to
robots.
say, my son and other foster children have watched recently the movie Robots that my
Right on.
mom bought. Like, their grandma was like, oh, I bought this cute movie. It is a cute
Is that
movie.
the one with Ron Williams in it?
It might be him. I couldn't tell.
Is there
There
a
was like a
joke about
voice.
is there a joke
I didn't watch the whole thing all the way through. All I watched was enough to see enough to be like, how does this world work?
Yeah.
Because they have like the concept of gender and parents.
I thought we ordered a boy. Yeah, I've seen that movie. It's a good movie.
But then like their girl, like he gets hand-me-down parts from his cousin who's a girl, and I can't figure that out.
Because he grows.
Right, and then he makes another robot, which like everybody just kind of treats like it is in fact a sentient baby robot that he's just made out of parts.
Yeah.
So why does he need a mom and a dad and a nuclear family because he's a robot?
Because they want to raise him.
Okay.
And also that has the best joke in the movie where he arrives in a box and he's like, "Don't worry, dear, making the baby's the best part."
Okay, that's a pretty good
It's
joke.
such a good joke.
What I'm saying is, if you delve into
There's a lot of questions. Yeah, it's like the
world.
Cars world or...
They don't do as much. Like, there aren't children in the Cars world that I can remember.
I think it's Disney or Pixar was like, we don't want to go into that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the right call, I think. I could be wrong. I've seen all the movies.
In Cars, the first one, there is that gag with the bugs on the ceiling, they're little BMWs.
Yeah.
And that raises questions. Subscribe to the Pixar theory. This all makes sense, though.
Yeah, and Life is a prequel to Venom, and Jar Jar Binks is Emperor Snoke, and yeah, it goes on. Ant-Man's gonna fly up Thanos' butt and explode him. Thanos, you gotta know, Thanos does some Kegel exercises. Ant-Man's not gonna be able to explode him. Okay, you know what? Let's talk about Super Robot Red Baron now that we are 9 minutes into the episode.
We can cut most of that.
I'm not cutting any of that. I think we left off with Fierce Gambit, Uranium Mine in the Mist.
We did that one, yes.
Yes, and I'm gonna skip over Counter-Strike, the Destruction Beam, because it's just like
Counter-Strike's a good game.
the SSI has its hands full trying to find operators of a destructive ray that is giving Devler's Ladler's robot the upper hand in its battle with the Red Baron.
I think we already did that one, too.
Cool. Well, we're gonna move on to the one I know we didn't do because it's great. The Beautiful Assassin.
Okay.
Mari, M-A-R-I, finds a really big thorn in the dozen roses she gets for her birthday. A needle. Injecting her
horrifying.
with a microscopic transmitter. Now, if you'll recall, what this is obviously a plot from the evil villain Dr. Devler. Is he going
President.
to... President? Yes, President Professor Devler.
Yes. I remember that much.
What do you think President Devler is going to try to do?
Turn her into a slave or steal...
He's
Red
going to
Baron.
compel her to do something.
Or both.
That compels her to do Devler and the Iron Alliance's bidding. This was his first 2 episodes. I guess he's like had enough time off where he's like, maybe that'll work again. It didn't work. It's not going to work, Devler. Next up, bet your life on one shot. Or bet your life on one shot? What? That's, by the way, that's terrible advice. Don't bet your life on a single shot. There's so many shots you can take. Bet like a tenth of your life
See, what you don't understand
on
is
many shots.
you're not a shonen protagonist.
Okay?
And the shonen protagonist, he tries everything. It doesn't work. Then his friends give him a speech about the power of friendship, and then he puts all his power into one single attack, and it always works.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, it's a bad life lesson. When Deviler finds out that Dr. Adagiri is returning to Japan to build a robot that is more powerful than Red Baron,
Right on.
he decides to take care of this problem. Why is that a problem? I guess Adagiri's not on his side?
That or pride.
I don't know why he doesn't.
His brother built
Why
the
doesn't
robot.
he give Dr. Adagiri 12 roses with the hidden needle and take over his mind? No, but he decides to take care of this problem by brainwashing Tetsuya into assassinating Dr. Adagiri.
Okay.
I don't know why you don't just skip to... I mean, legitimately, brainwash Dr. Adagiri. If you can do this, and we've seen repeatedly that you can, it never works, but you can, in fact, turn people into your mind slaves.
In fairness, this is the first time they've described how his mind control works. That it's a transmitter injected.
You think that it's always that he always has to be close enough to inject
Maybe.
them?
I was assuming it was just like hypnotism or like a mind control ray.
Okay.
But now it's just like he has to put a transmitter in you somehow.
Okay. I guess so. So this guy's got like way better security than
Probably than
regular.
just a person.
And then the other guy's like, well, we can get to him and inject him and then blow him up.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Enigma of the Invulnerable Robot, which is a cool name, but not as cool as this description of the episode, which starts off with a toy robot becomes a problem the size of Red Baron.
All right.
When Deviler replaces the robot that Daisuku's repairing for his little brother with a duplicate, so Ken and Red Baron receive the wrong information on how to destroy Deviler's bull robot. That was all one sentence, like from beginning to end. And I don't know. So I get that a toy robot becomes a problem the size of Red Baron. And then it says it does
Do you
that.
think that's literal? Or is it
I
just
think
like
so.
tiny and indestructible, so also somehow super strong?
And it's going to fly up the Red Baron's butt and expand.
Get away from that concept. Stop it. But I just like the idea of he's in this giant robot, but he has to pursue this tiny toy robot that's indestructible.
So it's like the beginning of Pacific Rim 2, but more so.
Yes. And probably entertaining.
I like that. Okay. That sequence was really good.
It was.
Okay, whether or not you like the whole movie, I think that part of the movie, at least I could argue, was a cool spin on the concept of giant robot versus... Also, I thought it did a really great job of like hammering home how big they are. Because you see her climb into this robot that's like 5 times taller than her. It's a big thing. And then
she's like foot size.
Yeah, there's like the big Jaegers coming after her that are just like even more huger than that. Even more huger. I've spoken English my entire life.
Yeah.
And I know that that's absolutely correct.
Yeah. Language evolves.
Next up, the Foretold Trap.
Well, that's a terrible trap then.
Yeah, it's not good.
Or the people going into it are very stupid.
Yeah.
Be like walking into a place that said warning bear traps and then, oh no, a trap for bears.
Speaking of traps, I gotta say, I'm listening to audiobook about the biography of Hannibal. I say biography, it's an account of his invasion of of Italy. And first off, everybody talks about Hannibal and his elephants. They die like
This is Hannibal of
first...
Carthage, by the way, not Hannibal Lecter.
Yes. I mean, Hannibal Lecter, Hannibal Trainer would be great also, but no. Like almost all the animal...
To bring in people. Anyway, sorry.
All of the elephants die basically immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what he's known for. Is like, man, elephant. Hannibal rolled into Italy with all these elephants. That's his main achievement. The elephants were a bad idea.
No, yeah, everybody told him it was bad. He's like, now we're doing it anyways. And he got like, I think it was like 5 elephants.
That wasn't really the thing that that made me think of that though in this description. The idea of a trap was that the guy who's in charge of Rome at the time sort of gets news of Hannibal, has an understanding of how good he is at battle, and he's like, I'm not that good. You know what? I can just run away. And I can run away for longer than you can chase me. And that's essentially how Rome wins, right? They, like, the only way they can beat Hannibal, and this is the strategy essentially from the beginning, is they just avoid fighting him and try to deny him any kind of, like, supplies or whatever. Like they do the Russians retreating into the continent, destroying the farms and everything behind them as they go. And that's like, I haven't got to the end of the book, but I know the story, and I know that's how they defeat him. They like, Cannibal's tricky, and he lays all these traps, and they're just like, we're just not gonna go where your traps are, man. We're just gonna stay away. Anyway, and that has nothing to do with Robot Red Baron. With a very heavy digression episode. Ken Kunari, or Kunanai?
That always happens whenever we get back to it.
Yes. Has just been tracked down by his fellow SSI agents and killed by Captain Dago. What did he do? What's wrong with Ken? What's wrong with... Okay.
Well, he did now.
Then, Ken wakes up in a cold sweat.
Oh.
But Devler knows all about Ken's nightmare. Somehow?
Did we give it to him? He has mind control stuff. Also, did he ever get rid of that robot version of his brother? Or is that thing just hanging around?
Well, so these are like little, teaser synopses, so they don't give you the whole episode. No. But I'm going to assume that guy's not just still out there kicking it. Because, for one thing, we know his name. Oh, wait, do we? Yeah, Ken
Kenshiro
is the main dude.
Yeah, Ken and then, like, Kenshiro or something.
Yeah, so I think we would know about him. But Devler knows all about Ken's nightmare and is about to turn it into reality. Which is... I wish we had more details on this.
If you had...
Like, the idea that he's going to have to fight his own organization, like, that's a cool trope, right? That's basically every Mission Impossible movie. They're like, the Impossible Mission Force is being disbanded because it has the stupidest name ever.
Never seen any of those movies.
The actual name of the top high government organization Tom Cruise works for is the Impossible Mission Force.
Of course it is.
They don't say it out loud very often. They usually just say IMF.
Didn't it start in like the 90s?
It started in the 60s.
Okay, then that'd be.
It was serious at the time, though. Like,
so was Batman.
No, Batman was not. Come on. No, Batman was not.
The guy who played Commissioner Gordon is convinced it was a serious show. Or was convinced.
I've seen the movie, and I know it's not
a
serious movie.
So have I, but he would disagree vehemently.
I'm glad to have that disagreement with him.
It's a serious show about law enforcement. He wears a bat costume. And he can't get rid of a bomb because ducks.
Yes. No,
that movie's so brilliant.
The dude who plays Commissioner Gordon can say that. If the director comes to me and says that, I'm going to spit in his face. Despite the fact that he made a delightful movie. Next up, we have Iron Alliance Fugitive E16.
Okay.
Yeah. That one's... I don't know.
I like that one.
Okay. I like either one of those individually.
Yeah.
Like Iron Alliance, cool name. Fugitive E16, cool name. Together, it's just sort of maybe a little
It sounds like a one-off, like, OVA movie rather than just an episode title.
Okay.
At least from Japan.
The SSI team must find and protect a human slave that has escaped from the Iron Alliance before the Iron Alliance does. It makes sense now. And I gotta say that, well, so he's a fugitive from the Iron Alliance. He's got like a number instead of a name. Mm-hmm. I didn't, we've been hearing about
him trying to make mind slaves.
President Devler making mind slaves this whole time, but the fact that is actually like his whole shtick and the basis for his power and his alliance and everything, like that he has lots and lots of people under his mind control and he's using them on the reg. That's enlightening. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think we've actually gotten that from the series before now, but it makes him a much more interesting villain than just guy who has big robot that can't beat up other big robot, but somehow is still in charge.
Multi-nuanced villainy.
Yeah. Okay, so the human slave has escaped from the Iron Alliance, and they have to find and protect him before the Iron Alliance does. Wait, what? I'm going to read this sentence.
I think they have to find and protect him before the Iron Alliance finds him.
And protects him.
Yeah, I know.
For the same reason. So it goes on. I'm going to read this whole sentence just because it's ridiculous. The SSI team must find and protect a human slave that escaped from the Iron Alliance before the Iron Alliance does for the same reason. He may have information on Devler's plans of attack that uses nerve gas.
That part should have gone before the find and protect.
I think So, yes.
And then the find and protect should have been a different sentence.
I agree, Brantley. I think that is an accurate assessment of this. I feel like the person who wrote this is sort of dedicated to keeping them maybe to 2 sentences, but trying for 1, and it does not work for all the information they're trying to cram in there. Like, they use a lot of colons as well as breaks in sentences, and they're not always 100%.
Colons or semicolons?
No, colons.
Okay.
Like, in this one, it's, he has to find it before the Iron Alliance does for the same reason, colon, and here's the reason, he may have information on the Deviler's plans of attack that uses nerve gas. I'm gonna excuse the fact that the uses is the wrong verb there. But, I mean, it's the right verb, but in the wrong tense, I think. Wrong voice, something. It's wrong.
This sentence is bad.
It's a bad sentence, is what I'm saying.
Go to your room.
The fact that I can't form my own sentence about it being bad does not negate the badness of the sentence. Next up, we have A Tale Written by the Devil.
Ooh.
After a girl saves Bicycle Inspector Kumano.
Bicycle Inspector. Yay.
After he is trapped in a cave. After he granted her... No, I'm sorry. Again, sentence construction weird. After she saves him, after he's trapped in a cave, he grants her fondest wish.
So he's a genie now?
Well, her fondest wish was to be able to fly. So, I guess?
I mean, he is a cop. Maybe he can just get her in a helicopter. And he knows the protagonist. Maybe he can just get her in the robot.
The fact that the Bicycle Inspector is a main character in the show and has not been killed yet, I'm actually on the side of him's definitely some kind of supernatural being. I think she's just going to fly around and punch the Super Deviler's robot now.
Or she's evil.
But the girl may be the key for Deviler to be finally able to destroy Red Baron once and for all. Which I will point out does not make sense if she's just going for a ride in a helicopter.
Accurate. Except
he
can mind control people, and she now has an insight on the organization. Which he's already tried like 15 times, but...
I guess now he knows about this one random cop who rides a bicycle around.
He hasn't noticed him yet.
Oh, this guy's part of the... Yeah, so, like...
Boss, we've been seeing him like every 3rd day. Why did no one tell me? We thought you knew. He stands out. He's a cop on a bike. We don't know why he's here.
How does he keep surviving these?
Now, see, that's the question, sir.
I think we're going to wrap the episode with this one. There are more episodes, but I don't know why, because this episode is titled, Behold! The End of Red Baron! I guess they get a new robot later on in the season. But
Red Baron Mark II, or V2, or some letter 2.
The Blue Baron. I don't know what's the next up from a Baron in the ranking.
Duke?
Yeah, the Red Duke.
Blue Duke. That sounds wrong. Somehow. I don't know why.
It sounds sexual.
Does it?
I think so.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say that it does.
Okay. You do you, bud. I don't judge.
I didn't say I was interested.
Look, you don't have to defend yourself here.
After the rest of the SSI team are called to the woods. Okay.
The woods. This is Japan, so probably the woods around Mount Fuji, the Suicide Forest.
Okay. Is that the only woods they have?
There's a couple islands, and there were mostly forest at one point, so no, but that's the most famous one.
Okay. Anyway, they're called there by Daisuku after Mari was apparently eaten by the giant snake she was investigating. Oh, that's also sexual. They see Red Baron being beaten and destroyed.
Okay.
Has Deviler finally achieved the impossible? And since that's the end, we're just going to have to assume the answer is yes.
But there's more episodes, so no. He built a fake robot to destroy, to demoralize everyone.
I think since they saw Mari being eaten by a snake, that's a giant snake. And that definitely didn't happen, right?
That raises... that's...
This is not something that this show is going to do is kill off, like, major good guy characters. I can tell. Other than the first character,
Well, he wasn't a major character at that point.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, that's all we have for this episode. We've spoiled a bunch of stuff for you. We talked about 976 evil to the Astral Factor
And giant robots.
Which needed to be in there. There could have been some giant robots in there. They had like weird ghost fights because there was other people who ended up astral projecting in that. Anyway, good movie. Check that out if you guys have time. I would also probably recommend, if you can figure out where it is, check out some episodes of this Red Baron show. It sounds crazy, but also kind of fun. We haven't done that yet, though, so that'll have to be for the future. Speaking of the future, if you want to continue to hear these, make sure you subscribe on whatever your favorite podcast platform is. And if you love us, you should really, really go to iTunes and leave us a review. We're told that that is a big help to us. We thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you guys next week with another episode of Too Weird Didn't Watch.
Bye, guys.
Bye.